everyone, and welcome. Yep, we got chat going. This is Tiffany Swidensky, and this is the Sharp Marketing Mastermind meeting for March. And I appreciate everyone who was able to reschedule and attend today because I was sick last week and still kind of recovering, honestly, but feeling much better. I told myself a year ago I wouldn't force myself to work if I was sick again. And so that's why I rescheduled. And I just really appreciated again everyone who could make time on their calendars. So for today, I just wanted to let everyone know that we won't be going for the full hour and a half. We'll actually be going until, I have to look at the 1 p.m. Goodness gracious, it really threw me off that we didn't have the webinar mode enabled. And today we are going to talk about marketing data. And if you guys will just bear with me for a few minutes while I get my notes up, because I was really excited, or I am really excited to talk with you about marketing data because it is extremely important in what we do in our marketing. And there's a lot to talk about and a lot to go over when it comes to marketing data. There's a lot of tools that we use. There's a lot of ways that we gather data. And by and large, marketers struggle to understand marketers. And when I say marketers, I mean small business owners and the law firm owners who are running the practices we work for, right? They often struggle to understand what's important, if their data is correct. Nobody is really sure where their data comes from and what it means. And so I'm going to talk with you guys today about how to gather data first and foremost, how to ensure that you have good data integrity, and then finally how to analyze and interpret the trends. And some of the things and the KPIs that we track at Sharp Cookie for our clients that I believe all law firms of any practice area should be tracking for their business. So to start with, I'm going to go to the very beginning, which is talking about how we gather data. Because there are actually a lot of different tools that I use, that other vendors use to gather marketing data about your leads. So just to start, you have your website. And there are a few important things to get when somebody visits your website. One, their browser is capturing information about their visit. And when they show up on your site, their browser is sending our website information about how they arrived on our website, what pages they visit, and what forms they submit or what other actions they take, right? And so one way that we get data and marketing data about our leads is through that website tracking, primarily through form tracking, right? So when somebody submits a form on our website, a lot of that data is pulled from the browser about the lead. And this also happens when people submit chats on your website. And so what we want to do, or what we want to try to do, is import the data from those forms to our lead management system. And so that's one way that we get data. Second way we get data is through call tracking. And for law firms, call tracking is big, probably even bigger than what data you get through form submissions, because most of our highly valuable leads are coming from phone calls. So tracking numbers are one way that we have to find out how people learned about us and how they chose to reach out about us or reach out to us. So one thing that I'm explaining a lot to new legal marketers and new clients is that Google Business and Google Search are not necessarily the same things. And this is difficult to explain because, Google, everyone just kind of thinks like it comes from the internet, right? But with Google Search, that is when somebody does a query, does a search, and ends up on our website because our website showed up in the organic results. They clicked, they visited our website. And that is organic search because that is what we're doing when we do SEO. When we write content for our website, when we optimize content, when we update schema, all of those things. When we're doing those, what we're doing is trying to make it so our website shows up in those organic results. And so when we receive a lead that comes through that channel, it should be marked as organic search. But Google Business, in a lot of ways, is something separate. And it's called the local pack, the map pack, or it's what you see when you do a search in Google Maps instead of, google.com. Google Maps are a different but similar channel for leads to find us. It's different than organic search because it's not necessarily our website that's ranking, it's our business listing. And these things are certainly connected, but we definitely want to track the leads that come through Google Business by finding us in those map packs, finding us in Google Maps, and other places on the internet, other directories, legal directories, listing sites, Yelp. We want to track leads coming from there versus leads coming through what we would consider traditional organic search, right? And so call tracking data can help us do that effectively because we can create tracking numbers for each Google Business location and use those same tracking numbers on other directories for that location on the internet and get a pretty clear picture of who's coming through Google Business and who's coming through organic search on our website. And then just to make it a little extra confusing, because marketing and marketing data we're also probably tracking people who converted through our website, but didn't come through Google search or didn't come through Google Business profiles. And it is certainly a small audience of people, but Google isn't the only path to finding or learning about your business. And you would be surprised the diversity in the different ways people search the internet. Not everyone's using Google. And I didn't even mention ChatGPT and documenting people coming through LLMs and those GPTs or RAG systems or whatever. I'm learning more about RAG systems today. And so we want to segment this traffic. Tracking numbers and data from form submits can definitely help. Now, other ways that leads can reach us usually is with lead generation. And that's going to be PPC and Facebook ads. Now, with PPC and Facebook ads, we can set up our campaigns so that our intake dashboards, for example, Lead Docket, are receiving leads directly from our forms and our landing pages. And it bypasses our website in a lot of respects, or our Google Business listing. I mean, not in a lot of respects, it bypasses our website. Because when we're doing direct lead generation, when we're doing stuff that's more akin to direct response marketing, what we're doing is we're building dedicated pages, phone numbers, forms for that particular campaign. So when we do a Facebook ad, and let's say our aim is to generate leads from Facebook ads, we're making tracking numbers and we're gathering form UTM data, which is what I was describing earlier. But actually what we're doing more often is directly connecting that form to Lead Docket. So when a lead comes into the system, it's already marked as coming from this campaign or this creative. And so it becomes its separate marketing source in Lead Docket or whatever intake dashboard tool you're using, right? And so that's why when you're selecting intake dashboards or any kind of CRM where you're going to be receiving leads and triaging leads, you want to make sure they have this ability to receive raw information from a variety of tools, right? Because for a lot of my clients, most of them use Lead Docket. Lead Docket we have set up to receive information from website forms, intake or chat, Jubo, or whatever these companies are on, chat in general. The answering service, because sometimes the answering service picks up phone calls and needs to send lead data back to Lead Docket. Any of our